Te Pacific News, whakalawhalahi atu, Aumseo Manu te Vamta Whai. Fiji media outlets say a former Prime Minister, Frank Bainimarama, and suspended police commissioner, Siti Beni Kiliho, will know their fate next Thursday when Silver Magistrate Saini Guamau will deliver her judgment. Bainimarama is charged with one count of attempting to pervert the course of justice, while Kiliho is charged with one count of abuse of office. FBC News reports the matter was called yesterday, where Magistrate Guamau told the state and the defence councils to file and serve written submissions by this Friday. Manisha Shankar, who was an associate of the late Director of Public Prosecutions, David Tunga Nivadu, will overlook the case for the state. The Pacific Islands Foreign Secretary General says time will tell if the US will follow through with its latest Pacific funding pledge. Henry Puna has just arrived back in Fiji after the second US Pacific Summit in Washington, where he met President Joe Biden. $200 million of new aid was promised this year. But Australia's Malawi Institute Pacific Island Programs Director, Nick Keane, says Congress has still yet to approve most of the $810 million in funding pledges by last year. When questioned about why the US is operating at a snail's pace, he says there are certain issues that are beyond him.
We have to take the word of the President of America. There are certain issues that are beyond me and beyond our officials. These discussions have been ongoing and will continue to be ongoing in order to bring to life the commitments that America has made to our leaders.
19 Papua New Guinea policemen are facing murder charges before the court, with more still under investigation. The national newspaper reports this is according to the Assistant Police Commissioner of Crimes, Hodges Ed. He says they have policemen who are taking drugs which leads them to committing murder. Assistant Commissioner Ed says there is no use in having a police force vested to enforce the law when the officers themselves are breaking the law. He says police are urging prosecutors to apply tougher penalties for policemen and women heavily involved in drugs. A new investigation from the Organised Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, or OCCRP, has revealed details of two China-born fraudsters. The investigation reports that Geo paid more than $1 million to UN diplomats to gain access to its headquarters before embarking on a controversial plan to set up an autonomous zone in the Pacific Ocean. Kerry Yan and Gina Zhu were sentenced by US court earlier this year over a plot to bribe Marshall Islands politicians to create an autonomous zone 200 kilometres across open water from Kwajalein Atoll, where the US Army has a military facility. OCCRP reporters found the plan was the final step in a global grifting odyssey by the pair, whose multi-million-dollar schemes included a water cure and cryptocurrencies. The former president of the Marshall Islands, Hilda Hain, told OCCRP the pair's failed plan was unconstitutional and threatened to fracture her country. In Aotearoa, a 16-year-old boy has denied murdering a man at an Auckland bus station. The teenager appeared in the High Court at Auckland with his parents yesterday. Felix Walton has more.
The 16-year-old has pleaded not guilty to the murder of Epapata Joseph Jordan Potapu last month. Mr. Potapu was critically injured during an altercation at the Albany bus station and later died in hospital. Police made an arrest the next day. The teenager's trial is set to begin on November the 4th next year. He has been remanded in custody at a youth justice facility.
The New Zealand National Water Regulator is expected to reveal today which water suppliers are failing safety requirements. Taumata Arawai has issued 150 compliance notices requiring councils and other organisations to install UV filters to protect the water from parasitic microorganisms. Adam Burns reports.
A list of public water suppliers that need to install barriers against protozoa and other parasites will be published by Taumata Arawai later today. Queenstown is still feeling the effects of a cryptosporidium outbreak, with 60 confirmed cases and boil water notices hanging over residents and businesses in the resort town. New regulations requiring protozoa preventatives in water treatment took effect last November, but not all councils have implemented them. Taumata Arawai says at least 10% of the population could be drinking water at risk of protozoa.
In world news, Pope Francis has warned that the world is collapsing because of climate change and that political leaders are failing to address the threat. In a statement issued at a month-long summit at the Vatican, the leader of the Catholic Church has also called for a change in what he calls irresponsible lifestyles in rich countries. The BBC's Aline McCall is in Rome.
The essence of the Pope's strongly worded paper is the world is failing to properly tackle climate change. He says global governing bodies have been ineffective, and even when there have been agreements on the environment, the commitments are often vague and without strong sanction for failure to meet targets. He says politicians are moving so slowly to transition away from fossil fuels that, in his words, their moves risk looking like a ploy to distract attention. And the Pope also criticises some individuals who still deny there's a problem.
In sport, Fiji will play Tahiti in the semi-finals of the OFC Futsal Nations Cup after outlasting Vanuatu in their final Group A fixture. Fiji led 2-0 at half-time and went on to win by that score. New Zealand will play Solomon Islands in the semi-finals after beating Tonga 14-0 in their final pool match. The semi-finals are later today. Kookaburra Sharks captain Tiana Penny and Cowboys utility China Polapa headline the Tonga women's squad to take part in this year's Pacific Championships. Both players featured in this year's State of Origin series. Titans rookie Danny Perisi, who featured in the NRLW Grand Final, lost to the Knights, has also been named. Tonga will feature in week 2 of the Pacific Championships and will take on New Zealand at Eden Park later this month. And Morocco, Spain and Portugal have been named the hosts of the 2030 Men's Football World Cup, while Uruguay, Argentina, Paraguay will host the opening matches to mark the tournament's centenary. That's your latest RNZ Pacific news. For more now stories, go to rnzi.com.